Hey everyone, welcome back to another Light Switch. This is all the stuff that would not fit into the rest of the episodes of Switchcraft. So let's get started and let's talk Nintendo. No. I gotta hit that sooner. You guys know the deal. Light Switch is when I can't fit everything into the other shows. We've got a bunch of feedback from the rest of the episodes, so that's what Light Switch is all about. Let's talk Nintendo. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Light Switch. I've got a bunch of feedback that you guys sent in. First off, I tweeted out a question asking whether or not you guys were going to be picking up a Switch Lite. And man, I love that I call it a Switch Lite, spelled it with L-I-T-E, like my wife and I even discussed. Are we going to call it L-I-T-E for Switch Lite? Or for Light Switch? Or are we going to call it L-I-G-H-T? We couldn't really decide. I ended up settling on Lite, and then Nintendo called theirs the Switch Lite. So that's just happy branding accident. Anyway, I tweeted out a question. I got a bunch of votes on it. There's still time for people to vote on it. 75% of the people who voted said that they are not buying it. 3% said that they're buying it as their first Switch, 22% said that they're buying it as a second Switch, and 1% said that they are buying it to replace their Switch. Let's look at some of the reasons that people either are picking up or are not. So first off, we have here Pat Duddy says the Pokemon version looks cool. I think my son might enjoy that one. I'm disappointed it's not dockable. Francisco Ramos says absolutely yes. This will be my third, and it is what I was waiting for my 6-year-old. He will have a very happy Christmas with that special Pokemon edition. They then said, elaborating a little. In my case, it makes more sense for the Lite. I have 2 Switches and 3 docks in my house. I don't need another dock. I don't need a dockable Switch, and it's for a 6-year-old. I need it to be indestructible, so this is my best option. Matt replied, hard pass. You won't get to hear that wonderful sound when attaching the Joy-Cons. You know the one. Oh my God, that's right. I love that sound. Webhead says, my daughter would have to ask for, and my wife would have to approve this. And that is a big if. My wife requires a 2-hour time limit via the Parents app. J Harley 17 says, been thinking about picking up a second one for the kid. I'm going to ask her which she would want more. I'm guessing she'll pick up the one she can play on her TV as well. Give us a D-pad Joy-Con though, Nintendo. Blurpy24 says, give me a Pro. It's a Bug Hunt Man says, I play my Switch almost exclusively in TV mode. So for me, this offers no advantage. I'll wait for the Pro model. However, I think this is a great deal for children and those who only play on the go. Nathan says, I have 3 kids. No, I already read this one on the last episode. Smash Block says, not buying it because it doesn't dock and display on the TV. Paul Klotz says, I don't see much benefit in it myself, but I could see my partner getting it because she'd use a standard Switch almost exclusively in handheld anyway. Chromitao says, if you have both versions, could you use the same profile with both? My backups would follow. I don't think you can transfer them quickly. It's more of an involved process, but you can definitely go from one to the other. Going back and forth is probably something that is not going to work very well given Nintendo's history with getting that kind of stuff right. Let's see. Steve says, I think this option will be good for parents with multiple kids. The price is a bit easier if you need to buy 2 of them as opposed to 2 regular Switches. That's true. You're saving $200 by not buying 2 of those instead. Of course, some people would say, well, you're saving $600 by not buying them at all. I guess that's true too. Paulie says, I personally think the ability to dock, larger screen, removable Joy-Cons, and the ability to do co-op with 2 Joy-Cons is worth the $100 more on the regular Switch. That's like the price of 2-ish games. And while the games will come and go, these features will continue to give value. I also really hope they get the Joy-Con drift figured out. You can't replace the controllers, and I imagine replacing the sticks would be much bigger pain in the neck since you'd have to crack the entire thing open. I want to go back to what they said here about the things being worth $100. I feel like the ability to do co-op with two Joy-Cons, the removable Joy-Cons, the larger screen, and the ability to dock, I think that's all worth more than $100. I feel like $200 for the Switch Lite is too expensive, but that's just me. I feel like 169.99 would be a really good price, or even better, 149.99 would be a really good price. Also, with the Switch coming in at $200, the Nintendo 3DS has to see a price drop, because right now, if I wanted to buy a new Nintendo 3DS, that is $200. So why would I buy that and not the Switch, or the Switch Lite? That's a question I ask. However, you could go with the new Nintendo 2DS, and that's $150. Nintendo needs to figure out their pricing just a little bit, because I think $200 is a little bit too much. Oh, look at this. Buddy Reno says no. I think the price point is a little too high for the trade-offs. Maybe at $159 or $169. Especially considering the Switch is on sale at $249 regularly. I would disagree with that. I have not seen the Switch on sale for $249 regularly. What I have seen is the Switch bundled with something. So you can get like the Switch bundled with a game for $300. That's something that I've seen. And something that they could do to sweeten the deal for the Nintendo Switch Lite is to pack in a game. And I don't know what game that they would have to pack in, or that they should pack in, but I think it would be a good idea. Okay, so those are a whole bunch of tweets about that. If you have opinions that you want shared, you can tweet at me at RunJumpStomp. Use the hashtag Nintendo Switchcraft, because I have other podcasts that I do, and I want to make sure that I can search for those tweets and include them in the show. Let's take a break. We'll hear from our sponsors. When we come back, I've got 3 or 4 emails to get through. So we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and let's got an email here from Joshua. It says, "Hey Bill, I was looking at the prices of the Nintendo Switch and the Lite Switch, and I realized that the Lite Switch is only $100 cheaper than the regular Switch. I feel like this is a huge mistake on Nintendo's part if you add up the numbers. The main things that come with the regular Switch in the box are a dock, an HDMI cord, a Joy-Con straps, a charger. The Lite Switch only comes with a charger and the console. The dock, the Joy-Con straps, the HDMI cable that don't come with a Switch Lite are about $95, meaning that when you buy a regular Switch, you're paying $5 for HD Rumble, removable and replaceable Joy-Cons, a kickstand, a bigger screen, and controls, TV accessibility, more games, etc. You get all of this stuff for an amazing deal compared to the Switch Lite, all for the price of a little bit smaller battery life. For those reasons, I would pick up a regular Nintendo Switch over a Switch Lite all day. While I can see the Switch Lite for little Timmy, I am not letting Nintendo fool me. I like to crunch numbers if you couldn't tell. Almost your biggest fan, Joshua C. or Coop Rider 88. So I already talked about price. I do agree. In fact, back when the Switch first came out, I made a video. I don't know if it ended up as an episode of the podcast or not, but I made a video about how Nintendo could charge less for the Nintendo Switch and end up making more money in the process. So here was what my idea was. Nintendo could charge $229.99 for the Nintendo Switch that comes with just the Switch, the Joy-Cons, the charger. Okay, $229.99. I think that's a good price. And then they could call that like the handheld edition. Okay, and then they could sell separately the dock. The idea of selling a Switch with every Switch comes with a dock is just bananas, because If you buy multiple switches for the house, you end up with more switches or more docks than TVs you probably end up having. And so you're like, what am I going to do with this extra dock? They should sell it without the dock. And then you sell the dock for, I think the dock sells for $80. I could be wrong, but I think it's $80. So $80 plus 229 brings you up to 310. I think that they would have sold, if my math is right, I'm doing it on the fly, so maybe it's wrong, but I feel like Nintendo dropped the ball big time when they launched the Switch, but it seems like it went okay for them. As far as the Switch Lite, it's not something that I'm interested in because it doesn't work for me. But I think it's going to be a huge seller, and it's going to sell tons and tons and tons of games for Nintendo. And I think that this is a winner. However, I would love it if they would bring out a Switch that did not come out with a dock, because I already have one dock for every TV in my house. So I don't know why I'm holding up two fingers. I already have one dock for every TV in my house. I don't know that I would want, like, even if I bought another Switch, I would still want it to be able to dock, but I don't want another dock because I have no use for it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, thank you for the email, Joshua. Sorry. I also got an email from Jeremy. Jeremy says, "Hey, Bill, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the Switch Lite. I'm a little disappointed with the price and no real upgrades to justify the cost." Well, to be fair, it's not a device that's supposed to be upgrades. It's supposed to be downgrades, basically. Anyway, let's see what else he says. I think that when this releases in September for $200, people online will be selling their older Nintendo Switches on Facebook Market, OfferUp, Craigslist for the same price or lower. So why purchase this when I could get a better Switch? I feel like I will wait for the next rumored upgrade larger model in the future. Thanks for the consistent great content, Jeremy in Portland. Okay. Well, why would you buy this when you can get the same price for a used one? I don't know that argument really makes sense to me. When you're buying a used one, you don't know what you're getting. You might get ripped off. You might get something that on the face of it works really well. But then when you get home, you're like, oh man, it's got like dead pixels or something, or the battery only lasts like 15 minutes and then it dies, or look at this thing doesn't charge past whatever. There's so many different things. It's got the Joy-Con drift. I got to go out and buy new Joy-Cons for it. All of these things are things that you have to keep in mind when you look at places like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and Craigslist. Not to say that everybody out there rips you off. I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, the camera that I'm using right now is a Sony A6000, which is a very expensive camera. I bought it for $200 from somebody who just wanted to get rid of it. So it turned out great for me. It could have been a nightmare. I was willing to take the risk because it seemed like a really, really good deal. And, I guess I could have bought a Switch Lite then. Anyway, I'm really happy with the camera, but it could have been a nightmare scenario for me. So I agree that $200 is too much. However, I think it's going to sell really, really well at $200. And I think Nintendo, while I'm not happy with the price, I think Nintendo is going to sell plenty of these, and lowering it would be even better. They would sell even more. Oh, there's motorcycles driving by. Shut up, you guys. There's all of this. They're going to do great with this price point. I think they would do better, but would they really do better? Only time will tell. I also got an email from Scott. Scott sent in an email. He said, just catching up on Nintendo Switchcraft episodes, and you're talking about Langrisser coming to Switch. It came to Genesis when I was young, and I loved it, but it was called War Song. Just an FYI if you are interested. Thank you very much for that information. I think that is super interesting. I'm excited to check out Langrisser. I requested a review copy. Hopefully you know, the developers or the publisher, you know, sends me a copy and I can talk about it in more detail when it comes out. But I thought it looked really, really cool. If you didn't remember what this is, Langrisser is basically like, I guess I would liken it to like a Fire Emblem game or a Shining Force game, like a turn-based strategy game from the 16-bit days, and the developers are updating everything to make the graphics look better and stuff like that. And it's definitely something that I'm interested in. Speaking of which, I'm curious. We've got three huge games coming. Thank you for the sub, PBJ Sandwich. I appreciate it. We've got three huge games coming out this month or next month. Or I guess I would put one of them as next month, even though it's the end of this month. We've got Dragon Quest Builders 2, came out yesterday. We've got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 coming out, I believe, next Friday. I could be wrong about that. This is all from memory. And then we've got Fire Emblem Three Houses coming out like the week after that. So my question to you is, of those games, which one are you going to buy and why? In fact, I'm going to do a tweet right now. I'm going to tweet it out so that people can respond and we can talk about it on the show. So those are the three games. I'll list them again just in case you are curious. We've got, I'm literally doing the tweet right now while I record. Fire Emblem. No, I'll do them in order of release date. Dragon Quest Builders 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Oh, I can't fit it in there. Marvel Ultimate 3, I guess I'll just call it then. And Fire Emblem Three Houses. So I want to know which of those games are you going to be getting up, or if you're getting all of them, let me know. I would be curious, and reply with your reasons. Tell me why. Reply to the tweet. Tell me why you're getting the game that you're getting, and you know, I may read it on the show. All right, let's wrap up the show here. Become a part of the community over at runjumpstomp.com/discord. You can also watch the show live over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. Get a hold of me through email, like all of these fantastic people, Jeremy, Scott, Joshua. Get a hold of me through email at runjumpstomp@gmail.com, or reach out to me on Twitter at runjumpstomp. Use the hashtag Nintendo Switchcraft. This has been a Light Switch. If you like this, make sure that you support the show by going to runjumpstomp.com/thank-you. And if you want to check out other shows, runjumpstomp.com/shows. The music you're hearing right now is Cornelius Star Fox remix by Noteblock. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for this Light Switch. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.